just really watching their games, being like, Marcus Smart is contributing left and right. I mean, almost lost the game for him. And then we got Laravia. He's doing stuff. Aiden looks bad. I have very low expectations for Aiden, and I think that he will come back to earth. But he has proven to be a capable piece in the center form. It's interesting.
You want a moment of honesty from Chris Verdon?
Always.
I watched him the other night, and I was like, I'd take him back.
Marcus and Laravia? Of course.
That was last year's trade deadline.
Of course.
Could use them.
Could use them. Of course. I mean, I haven't seen Marcus play like this in years.
Well, we certainly didn't hear.
Yeah.
But they have been fantastic thus far. The Lakers have truly been a very good story. I went to a basketball game last night. I went to the Houston Rockets versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Not a game that I was expecting the home team to win, given that they were A, reeling, B, 9.5-point underdogs, and C, playing against a team that they are clearly not nearly as good as. And seeing that Rockets team up close and personal was certainly very revealing to me, to watch them and how they conduct themselves. There's a lot of, we can space out the floor. We can give it to a guy that can win his individual matchup. Mm-hmm. And if he is requiring extra attention, he then can dish off someone else. This chemistry that Şengün and Ahmed Thompson have is just absolutely off the charts. I mean, you see where they get the ball to Şengün kind of in that high post operating area, and then next thing you know, Ahmed Thompson's in the dunker spot, and he could just finish anything.
That's my first love. We're doing loves and lows today. Is Şengün's passing? I think that he always sort of jumped off the page because he would have these highlight passes, sort of like behind the back. How could you see him cutting things? But without Van Vliet, they're using him in that Draymond role, the short roll, right in the middle of the floor, 15 feet from the basket, with options all over the place. And whether it's him drawing a second and Thompson being wide open for some weird alley-oop or layup thing, or Eason, or, they really don't. And they've got Kevin Durant there, who's got his own gravity and like sort of magnetism and attention that he's getting from the defense. And Şengün, he can score on pretty much anybody. He's either going to be better or bigger than anybody you put in front of him. And those highlight passes are fun, but 7 assists, 9 assists, he's averaging over 7 assists. And a lot of it is just sort of like manipulating the defense and putting pressure on them to make a decision with him as the sort of hub of the wheel with options left and right.
And it is going to be interesting if that stalls out against the best teams in fourth quarters. When we think about them at the highest level, right? Mm-hmm. The highest level, right? Will the lack of point guard have a ceiling? Thus far, it has not been so, because they have been shooting threes at an unbelievable clip. Going into last night, they were shooting 45% as a team from three.
Did you see Tari Eason?
Right.
And they 60%.
And then they also retrieve their misses. And one of the things that I've thought about quite a bit, not only do they have outstanding rebounders and size, and Steven Adams has been a great rebounder for every team, it is also that idea that we talked about with Kurt Goldsberry saying there are more threes rebounded than twos. At least that was the truth last year for the first time ever in a season. There was more rebounds coming from 3-point shots than 2-point shots. So, well, imagine if my whole team is 6'9", right? Those long rebounds, when I've got athletes and I've got that size, a lot of times, the Steven Adams stuff, generally, those rebounds and the Şengün stuff are going to be around the basket. Oh. They rebound at every quarter of every quadrant of the court. They're able to get the ball. And so, outstanding offensive rebounding. And again, you don't even have to shoot as high a percentage if you get more possessions. And that's been the trick so far. And that's why they've been the number one offensive rated team in the NBA.
And they shoot the second least 3-point attempts a game. I was pretty shocked by that. When you have an offense with that kind of firepower scoring that many points in today's NBA, and I think that there was a little bit of an overreaction last year to the quantity of 3-point shots that were going up because some of the best teams last year and this year, the highest scoring teams, don't take all that many threes. I think they're taking 30 a game or something. I'll take a look right now. Yeah, right. They're shooting like 30 a game.
Right. Well, and in fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get into, since we're doing loves and lows, I'm going to get into my first love. Since you did Şengün's passing, I'm going to do how teams are scoring. That so far this season, when you look up and down the list of NBA offensive efficiency so far this year, you are going to find you're going to find the Rockets, you're going to find the Nuggets, you're going to find the Sixers, you're going to find the Knicks, you're going to find the Hornets, the Lakers. There's a bunch of these teams that are up there at the top. And then I went and looked. So when you go to like any of the shot quality sites, etc., what you are going to find is one of the markers is rim and three rate, right? So, and this is one of the things we talked about where basketball became lay it up or tray it up. Mm-hmm. Like this is what everybody was trying to get to the rim, protect the rim, and everybody was trying to get corner threes and threes, right? And if you would go and you would look at the shot chart that our buddy Kurt Goldsberry would put out, it's like all these dots all the way around the arc, and then a bunch of dots in the paint, and that's what it was, right? And so it was lay it up or tray it up. And so one of the ways they chronicle this is rim and three rate. What percentage of my shots are at the rim or from the 3-point line, if I'm explaining this as easily as it can be, right? Mm-hmm. Well, go look at rim and three rate, and what you're going to find is that Houston and Denver and the Lakers, these teams, they're all like 27, 28, 29. They're all at the bottom of the league.
It's crazy.
In terms of rim and three rate. So how is that, right? This was the way, your most efficient offense, right? This is the way basketball has been going. But one of the things that Adam Silver has talked about when he has attempted to be patient about it is saying, look, these things cycle through, these things change. Well, at least through the first 10% of the season, it has proven that these things do change, right? So if everybody is laying it up or traying it up, then everybody's defense is then going to start being built to guard the basket and the 3-point line. Now you're going to have to find a new way. So now we're going to have to find a new way that we're going to score. And in fact, also not high on rim and three rate last year was last year's unbelievable NBA champion, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were like in the middle of the pack. Right. And so now this year, though, but you have like it so far, and again, we'll see if this holds. You do have, in many cases, an inverse, which is the teams with these very low rim and three rates are the ones that are having the best offensive years thus far. And these teams that are able to probe within the 3-point line, but maybe not get all the way to the rim. And so just keep an eye on it. But one of the things that the reason I say I'm loving this is because the more teams that play different ways, the better.
Yes.
And we had kind of gotten very copycat where everybody was kind of doing the same thing, right? Go get the paint touch, kick out, rotate, shoot a three. Come down on a fast break, shoot a three. Get a 2-for-1, shoot the three. Like, you know what I mean? Or get all the way to the basket. But the good shots were rim shots and three-pointers. Those are the best shots you can get in basketball. Then everybody said, we're not going to let you make a bunch of shots at the rim, and we're not going to let you take a bunch of uncontested threes. Therefore, you're going to have to make hay within this other range. And so far, the best teams in the league, that's exactly what they are doing. And I love it.
I remember it was Rick Carlisle said that the post-up was the worst offensive possession in basketball. I think I've seen more post-ups so far this year than I certainly saw last year. Right, and that's not an accident. And the Bulls are one of the biggest stories at the beginning of the season. You look at the distance of the percentage of their shots that come at the rim, which is basically like 0 to 3 feet. They're 36% of their shots come basically at the rim, and second on that list is the Spurs, who are 31.
Wow.
It's wild. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like maybe we're overthinking this. Like if you shoot near the basket, you're more likely to make the basket. Like
You are, but what's been fascinating is that like they're kind of getting to those mid-range floaters, right? You're seeing a lot of guys to get to the elbow. When I tell you,
tons of dunks.
no, what is the Shea Gilgeous Alexander shot? If I said, what is the Gilgeous Alexander shot?
A step back midi.
Right. What is the Jalen Brunson shot? What is the? You go on and on and on.
It's a foul shot. Jalen Brunson shot is a foul shot.
I mean, you can think about so many of the good players right now. Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers of all time. The best scorer of all time. It's constantly working in the mid range.
And so I think what's interesting is that these teams that are like super offensively potent. That has not necessarily been that hasn't been the method in which that has produced the best offensive NBA teams. And at least thus far this year, when you're looking and you're seeing Denver and Houston and the Lakers, teams that have been obscenely offensively potent metrically this year, when they're 27, 28, and 29 in rim and three rate, that tells you basketball is being played differently in some quarters.
Yes. And there was legit concern last year after the Celtics win the championship, and then Missoula was just like, we're just going to fire up threes. There was sort of an idea that was going to be the next era, we'll call it, the next window of 2 or 3 years of offensive basketball. It's already sagged. There's already been a backlash, and whether that's defense is adjusting or not just not having rosters that like shoot the lights out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these teams don't have like a bunch of dumpers from three that provide that kind of space.
Well, and the other thing is, like you said, 2 years ago, Boston shooting, it would not be rare at all to see them have 50 attempts. Yeah. And you just told me the best offensive team in the NBA thus far this year is shooting, what, 30? Did you say 30?
Something like that.
I mean, it's 20 less, bro.
Yeah.
Not like marginally less, way less.
It's crazy.
But then honestly, 42% of the shots they miss, they get the ball back anyway. So what does it matter?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they shoot 30 exactly 30 on the dot. The Rockets.
Unbelievable.
And the Rockets are going to come back to earth offensively. Like some of the
sure,
it's
unsustainable.
Yeah.
45% as a team.
Yeah, so Kogi's shooting over like 50-60%, and like Tari Easton. It's just like these guys are just like really. It felt like Reed Shepherd was their only sort of like threat from three.
Oh no, they all are.
Not everybody is.
Yeah,
and they look good. Remember you mentioned the vibes of the Lakers and how they're good and they're. It feels like the Memphis vibes are a little down. Just throwing that.
Oh my gosh,
feels like they're a little down.
Feels like
a little down. Maybe a little down, Bruno.
Feels down. You should have seen at the beginning of the game. It's like 14-5 or whatever it was. They were down 9. I mean, it felt like a funeral. I mean, it's just it was so bad. It's so bad. Like it's just and again, one of the things I always say is, look, there's 73 games left. Right? You're always a half or a game away from being happy again, from things turning around. Like if they beat Dallas tomorrow night, people will be like, oh, okay, everything's going to be okay, right? They got back on track.
I'd be more concerned about losing to Dallas.
Well, right. Oh, and then that would be a disaster.
Yeah.
Well, because that Sunday...
This is like the Bad Vibes Championship.
It's a grudge match. It'd be in the octagon. No, I mean, the vibes are terrible. It's been a horrendous week. And so hopefully the horrendous week is out of the way early in the season. What's your hope?
Do we know anything more? Do we know anything more?
I will say Morant was I know, look, the entire NBA echo chamber is about Morant. And look, we've been through this 100 million times when you're in Memphis, right? John does something goofy. Like there's even a chart like that goes around amongst Memphis fans, and it's like John does something minor, everybody freaks out. John's going to be traded. Team's going to be relocated. Back to the beginning. Right? It's just a circle, right? And it just so I mean we've been through it many times. It's certainly very equipped to deal with drama in this town. That being said, last night was odd because they lost the game. The vibes feel terrible. Everything feels disjointed. Jaron Jackson Jr. takes one shot in the first half of the game. It's like, what planet is this? And then after the game, every single one of them said the exact most like teamwork, professional. We're going to put our heads down, get to work, get through this. I need to be better. This falls on me. It starts with me. Like, this is what Morant was saying last night. Interestingly enough, got absolutely no media attention, right? Like, it's not going to get any media attention when the guy stands up, right? It's not nearly as fun as they got to get rid of him. He's got to get out of the finger pointing. He needs to go to the Miami Heat. They need to relocate the team. Like, that's not as fun. But he did. He stood there with reporters last night and was like, I need to be better. This starts with me. This falls on me, and I will be. I mean, and again, no, it's all words, right? Actions matter much more than words. But he did, and Jackson and everybody else that talked said everything right that you would want to hear for a team that's lost 4 in a row and looks like absolute hell. And they're supposed to get Zach Edey back next week. And I think that they kind of know at least a little help's on the way. Because, they lost 4 guys going into the season that they thought were going to be players for them. Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., Brandon Clark, and Zach Edey. That's 4 of the top 8 guys that you would be playing. And it's hard to lose 4 of 8 of your top guys. And so at least one of them should theoretically be back in the fold next week. He's practiced with the team twice. He's gone through walkthroughs. He may very well play for the G League team over the weekend. But, then that's one more guy at least that goes into the starting lineup that might help things. And so, I mean, they sound like they think they can turn things around. But if you watch them play, it's like, God, this is vibeless. And everybody looks sad and miserable.
Yeah. The Rockets did not feel challenged at all.
No, they weren't challenged at all. They weren't challenged. And they are fantastic.
Yes.
So, when you get a bad team who's struggling and the vibes are bad playing against a team like that, that's a bad combo, brother.
I love watching the Rockets. I absolutely love it. If you watch the Bucks or something, it's like you kind of know what's going to happen on every possession. Like Giannis is going to put his head down and spray out to a shooter. But the Rockets have so many weird toys to play with. It was such different games, like Sengun and Durant and Thompson and Eason. It's just I love the Rockets. I love it.
All right, what's your first loathe?
I'm going back and forth. I like that.
Yeah, you said you wanted to do it that way.
Okay. We usually don't listen to me, so I'm a little taken aback.
Psyched.
So I put this on the rundown before our current colleague and my former Grantland brethren, Danny Chow, put up a post on theringer.com about how the last 2 games in particular, defenses have switched up their Wemby coverage. And I think this got a lot of attention last night.
You couldn't wait to hate on Wemby.
If I could go negative on Wemby, I will. Because Luis Miyama he's had a couple tough ones recently. In 4-14 against the Suns, made 1 jump shot. He didn't have a